my YouTube brothers and sisters. How you doing today? Okay, I know you're a little shocked at the title above me, and I do apologize that you take offense, but this was not coming from me. Independent Milwaukee legislative candidate Leshah Griffin slogan has been removed from the ballot under her name for position in Wisconsin State Assembly. It states these 5 letters: not the white man's bitch. 3 white male judges did not take offense of that statement, ruled in the favor of Griffin. Although 2 of the judges, one of them was named Diane Lowe, she cast the deciding vote on the absent judge not present, and another one, so that makes 2, opposed to that quote, find it offensive and do not want that on the ballot. So they ruled in favor of that vote. Now, she said that it's infringing her rights protected by the First Amendment and wants to sue them by federal court to hold all ballots until that statement is placed back under her name on the ballot. She did explain that quote, meaning that it does not necessarily go directly towards the white man as a racist remark. It was going towards the federal government, the elite. That means not roll over and playing dead like a dog, like a bitch, in the statement for the government. She was speaking in favor for those who live in impoverished areas in Wisconsin, those who are being ignored and can't speak for themselves. Now, in my opinion, I would say that I have mixed feelings about it, because I understand where she's coming from, and from that statement, I could understand. I don't take it as an offense. Of course, if it was the other way around, saying I'm not the black man's bitch, I would still not take that as an offense, meaning she would not roll over and play dead for anyone. I wouldn't put it as the white man. Instead, I would put it as the man. Or the government. I'm not the government's bitch. I understand where she's coming from, but I would have changed that, because even though she's not trying to generalize all white men, it may sound convincing, but I would change that into the man, because now the government is diverse. It has all races of people in there. It's not just white. So I would say the man. Like Obama's in there. The man. You know what I mean? There's so many races of people who are in political offices and in the elite, that I would just have it as the government. I'm not the government's bitch. So I wish her the best of luck, and if you want to put in your comment and your debative idea and your response, please do so. I understand where she's coming from. I just wish that she said it differently or quoted differently. So please, intelligently comment. Alright, you know who you are. Don't make, I know this is a heated discussion, but let's comment logically on this. The next person I want to talk about is Shirley Sherrod. She was in position for the Georgia State Director of Rural Development. I had researched this last week while I was preparing for the wedding. Now the wedding's over, I can talk about it. Now, before I get started on this, once again, I'm going to ask all YouTubers, visitors, subscribers, and friends, watch the entire video. Alright, at the beginning, okay, I'm going to tell you my little 2 cents, what I have saw and researched on. At the beginning of her speech, she started to talk about her past and how blacks and African Americans were treated back then. I know this, I'm from the South. My parents, especially my father, and how he was treated when he was growing up and how his family was treated. Both sides of my family, my grandfather were farmers. They had their own farm, their own land. Now, at her time, she wanted to escape that land. She talked about how much she wants to escape from far away from the farmland as possible, not marry anyone who is from the South, wanted to go to the North and never return. But her father was killed by a white man. So she decided to stay. And she decided to make a difference at the age of 17 years old. Going through hateful violence, burned crosses, her mother standing up for herself and along with Sherrod and her sisters, protecting each other and their little baby brother. And 11 years later, her mother became the first elected official, chair of education for 34 years. Then later on to the film, that's when this is what I want to talk about right here. A lot of people in the political office have found offense of what she said in her quote. And I want to read this quote again so you will get the idea of exactly what she said. It states, "He had to come for me for help. He didn't know why he was talking all that time, trying to show me he was superior to me. I was trying to decide just how much help I was going to give him." Then she said, "I was struggling with the fact that so many black people have lost their farmland, and here I was having to help a white person save their land. So I didn't give him the full force of what I could do. I did enough." And then right after that quote, she explained that she sent him to a white lawyer. And the white farmer paid this lawyer for 7 months, from November to May. And guess what that lawyer did? Nothing. And the lawyer had told the farmer and Shirley Sherrod to let the farm go because the farm is being foreclosed. Sherrod argued with their lawyer to file, instead of a Chapter 12, to file Chapter 11 on the property because his name is still on that property, and stop the sale of the foreclosure. And still, the lawyer did not do anything, and that is 7 days before the court about to foreclose his property. She searched for a new lawyer, found out that the lawyer that she found was black and a farmer. So he can help this farmer. He can help the white farmer, which he did, and save his land from foreclosure. She realized from that statement that she had made, she realized if they paid attention further on into her speech, that it's not about race. It's about have and have not. It's about being rich and being poor. Then she talked about the slavery times before it became about race, when black slaves and white slaves were intertwined. And they were treated the same, no special treatment, but they treated each other as friends, as lovers, mothers and fathers, etc. Then later she explained how racism exists by when the wealthy white elite did not like how the white and the black slaves are intertwined because they're having babies together, they're getting along. They did not like that. So what they have done, they came up with rules and laws forbidding any type of marriages, fraternizing, socializing with each other. They freed all the white slaves and kept all the blacks as slaves years and decades later. So what she explained, which is true in history, look it up, research it, that it started as rich and poor, haves and have-nots into slavery. They put the poor into slavery. They started at the beginning. Then it became a racial division. Then after that, she discussed on how we as black people still have that slave mentality for over 400 years. And she then talked about the rich who want to remain powerful even in healthcare, meaning even today in healthcare. Then later on in the film, she talked to the young people at the NAACP speech about getting serious, which is true. And Sherrod said that young black people, he also said that at the beginning of her speech, that agriculture meaning is to work into the field, which is really not. I know that for a fact. And it's one of the best jobs in the world, and good pay. Then she talked about stop spending on unnecessary materialistic things and start putting money on houses. And she explained that houses are an asset. Then she ended the entire speech with blacks need to become more like entrepreneurs, independent workers. Okay, now that that's off the way, that was the end of her speech. Now I'm going to my opinion. Her quote to me, I thought it was offensive at first, until she went after and explained why she said that. She thought that by sending him to a Caucasian lawyer that he's going to be treated fairly well than being sent to a black lawyer. But she was wrong. So the black lawyer helped him out the best, where the white lawyer just didn't do anything. And she found out her mistake. And she explained later on in an interview that her and that farmer are friends. But you'll find out by watching the videos I have below, also the videos on Leshah and Griffin as well. If you want to find out for yourself, don't take my word for it. Look for yourself, then make a response. And just research on it as I have. Now, only thing that I disagree on is about the house being an asset. So you disagree with her on that one, because it depends on the houses you buy. Now, houses are suffering from foreclosure. It depends on the equity of that property that you will buy that becomes an asset. Of course, anybody could take that phrase and spin it any way they want. And I have to tell you that they had her to resign from her position because of that speech. I don't see what is the reason for her to leave her position, because she has made this speech about how wrong she is to send a white farmer to a white lawyer thinking that he was going to get a special treatment. She was actually admitting her mistakes in her speech at the NAACP. You may disagree for what I have said. Just give me a response or send me a comment. And thank you very much for watching. And take care. And if anybody wants to find out the updates on my site, just go to the link to my video and enjoy yourself. And I'll give you more information about the updates I'm making on the site. Peace and love. Take care.